Hey guys, it's Luke Weber, author of The Flipping Blueprint and The Wholesaling Blueprint. Today I wanted to give you some creative ways to close more deals. Basically, if you're going to the closing table, if you're going to somebody's table to sign a contract, and you only have one tool in your tool belt, you have less chance of closing that deal and getting that seller to sign on the dotted line. So I just wanted to go through 10 creative ways to get more signatures. First one is the one you all know. It's not really creative. You're offering cash. You go to somebody's house, you make them a cash offer. What happens when they say no? Right? Like, oh, it's not enough. I can't pay more. So these are all different options on what if you can't pay more? How do you pay more without paying more, basically, for these? How do you make money off of that lead? You're already at the table. You're already talking to them. Now you can do this over the phone too, right? But the very first one that we all know and love is making a cash offer. You want $200,000 for your house? It's got a $300,000 ARV. Obviously, you don't tell them that. I'll give you $150,000 because that's what I can do. Now, I'm not going to go into all the different negotiating ways and the numbers and everything on this video. We've got a couple other videos that actually do that. But what happens when they say no to that 150,000 offer? You've run your numbers, and that's where you need to be at. So one of the options that I like is to say, you know what? Can you carry the note? Because if you can carry the note, that'll make you more money. I'm not talking about me and how I'm going to make more money. I let the seller know that, you know what? You don't need the 200,000 all right now. Well, what if I put it under contract with you at 200,000, but you only need $20,000 to move? I can get you a $20,000 down payment, and you carry the note. Sometimes I've gotten these at 0% interest. That doesn't really make them more money, but it allows me to offer a higher amount for the purchase. So instead of 150, I'm offering them the 200 that they want with zero interest. Now I might come back and say, you know what, I can do 170 if you can carry the note, and if we do it at a 4% interest rate, that's interest you'll make over time and increases your offer. We'll do a 5-year term on it, and those are all negotiating points with them. But having them do an owner carry, it's not for your benefit, it's for the seller's benefit. That's how you have to sell that one, how you pitch that one. Another common mistake is that when you go in, you're pushing, hey, we can close quick and get money in your pocket. But the seller is like, well, I don't really need or want to close that quick. So what's a creative solution for that? I mean, obviously you can just drag it out, but they still need the money. So what I offer to my sellers is a delayed move. So this is another closing technique, another sales pitch, another way to close that helps the seller out. Say, you know what? Here's what we'll do. I know you need the money. You're behind on payments. You need to find a new place to live, whatever the case is. But we'll close. You'll get the money in your pocket, and you can stay in the house for a month rent free. And what we'll do is we'll do a holdback. And typically what we do is we let title or the closing attorney hold on to $5,000 of the seller proceeds. That's the money the seller would get, but they don't get it until they're actually out of the house. That protects you, the buyer, or if you're wholesaling, your buyers that end up buying the property. And I can tell you that when I buy properties from wholesalers and there's not a holdback, I make them go back and do that because I want to make sure that I'm protected as a buyer. And I do that for my wholesale deals, and I've done that in states all across the country. So a delayed move, that gives the seller what they want, time, and the money in their pocket. It's a great little trick tool to use to close more deals. Now, sometimes we get people that are like, I really love this house and I don't want to move at all, but I can't afford it. So now we say, okay, well, great. We can take over the payments, or maybe they own it outright, whatever the case is, and we'll sign a lease with you. And now this makes it a little more difficult when you're wholesaling this deal because you have to make sure that you have people looking for tenants in place. And typically what we'll do is sometimes I'll do them on a month-to-month lease. That makes it a little easier to sell when I'm wholesaling. But typically, the seller wants a year. So I'll sign a year lease within that sales contract and have the terms spelled out there. That way, the new buyer is subject to those lease terms. Now, obviously, if the tenant stops paying on the lease, all that kind of stuff, the new buyer, the new owner can evict them and do all the standard things a landlord can do. But you get those terms done up front. So you're solving a problem for the seller, right? They can't afford the house, they need money in their pocket, whatever the case is, they just don't want to move. Maybe they want 6 months lease back because their kids are in school. All different reasons for it, but that is a great way to solve the seller problems because that's what this is really about. You're solving seller problems. A lot of times they need money. Oh, there goes the phone during the video. You're solving the seller problems, and it's how you need to be creative. Now, you've learned this by having dealt with all these problems in the past, and if you name a problem, we've probably dealt with it, and we've developed these creative ways. And I know a lot of people do all different kind of creative things, but I just wanted to make this short, quick, easy video for you, although it's getting kind of long, so let me keep going. One of the things we do is, hey, you know what? You want that $200,000? I can do that, but I need an extended close because I'm going to get a traditional loan with traditional financing for it. Now, this is if I'm buying it for myself as a long-term portfolio property. And I'm like, you know what? It makes sense if I can get a 3% rate versus a hard money rate of 8, 9, 10%, less points, all that kind of stuff. And you can still wholesale these because you can wholesale it to an end buyer that has traditional financing as well. And there's a couple ways to do your fee in that because a lot of times the new buyer will have to do your fee outside of escrow for that. But to offer more money, say, hey, let me see if I can make this subject to financing now. You want that $200,000? Let me see if I can do it. Now, the condition of the house is going to be important in that because it has to qualify for loans. And typically, you don't want to do this with a FHA loan. That's a little more stringent. It's going to be a conventional, or if you have the VA loan opportunity for yourself, thank you for your service. The VA loans can really help out on that too because the rates are great and you get 100% financing on a lot of those. Now, sometimes, keep going back to that $200,000. They want the $200,000 and they know it's worth more. So you offer $150,000. They're like, nah, I want my $200,000 because I know you're going to sell this for $300,000. And you know, there's an amount of cash that you need to put in, all different kinds of things. One of the things that we do is flip partnerships. So I go to the seller and say, hey, listen, let's make this a partnership. You've got the house. I've got the skills, the team, the knowledge on how to get it to that $300,000 and make it profitable. So you want $200,000. I can offer $150,000 cash right now. That doesn't work for you. Let me get you the $200,000, but you hold on to the house. You move out. I'll fix it up, and when we sell it, you get your $200,000. I get my money back, and sometimes I'll take all the profit, or sometimes I'll say, you know what, we'll split the profit. On top of your $200,000 that you want, you'll get 25% of the net profit of the deal. And I'll show you a spreadsheet when we're all done. And the sellers are like, wait, I wanted $200,000, but you're going to get me more? And basically what you're doing is you're throwing your financing costs into the profit pool for the seller. And that's a way to get around FHA 90-day restrictions as well, because it never transfers ownership. So if you remodel that thing in 20 days, you're back on market, and you know you can accept FHA offers. That's a great way to do it. Definitely got to get paperwork on that, secure your interests, and make sure that seller is moved out. Completely moved out, that's when the clock starts ticking. So that's a flip partnership. Now, let's see, I think we've gone through cash purchasing, owner carries, delayed moves, tenant in place, traditional loan purchasing, flip partnership. Oh, you know what? Sales partnership. So go back to that $200,000, right? You say, hey, listen, I can pay $150,000. You've already put your chips on the table, and you don't want to come back and say, oh, you know, I can do $180,000. Wow, you just jumped up $30,000. Now I don't trust you. So you go back to the seller and say, you know what? I can pay $150,000, but I know a couple other people that might be able to pay more than me. So let's kind of do this partnership here. Sign my contract, and I will put it out to people I know in the business that trust me. They don't go out and do the field work and all that kind of stuff, but they want to potentially pay more than I do. I'll get a little fee for it. So basically what you're doing is you're coming out and just saying, hey, I'm wholesaling this deal. I'm going to make some money, but I'm going to try to get you as high of an offer as I can. And you go out, you market the deal under contract, right? You're not selling the house, because that's a very important thing here. You're not trying to find buyers for them. You're still selling your contract, your rights, your interest in that contract. That's how you get around the different rules and regulations on acting as an agent. There's a lot more into that. Definitely do your research on how to do that correctly. But basically, you're just opening up the curtain, letting them see the man behind the mask, all that kind of stuff. Hey, I'm wholesaling the deal. I'm going to make some money off of this. I'm going to get you more money than I can offer you, though. So you offer the 150, or you say, let's write it at 170, 180, and I'm going to see if I can find somebody that buys it. You might already have a buyer at 200, and you're still going to make 20 instead of 50,000. So it can all work out. So that's a sales partnership. Next up, a partial purchase. What happens when you have multiple sellers of a property and they just don't agree with each other? This happens a lot in divorce. Now we've gone in and the husband is upset, the wife is upset. They don't want either of them to make money, or I want the house, I don't want the house. I don't want to use your buyer. I don't want to use your buyer. All those kind of scenarios. So we've gone in and we've gone dealing with, let's say, the wife. And she's like, I just want to get out of here. He's being difficult. The house is worth $200,000, and she has rights to half of that. So let's say it's $100,000. But now I'm going to have some legal. I'm going to have some multiple issues. I'm going to have to deal with the husband. I'll say, hey, listen, you want to get out of this? I'll offer you $70,000 for your share, for your partial interest in this property. You're done. You're out. Boom. That actually works out pretty well for some people. You got to do that with kid gloves, because there's a touchy situations. A lot of times there's family members involved. Maybe a bunch of siblings inherited a house, and the one doesn't want to sell. All that kind of stuff. So there's the amount of legwork and follow up and things that you have to do at the end of the day on that is more cost. So your price that you can pay keeps going down. So let's see, I think we've gone through 8. We did cash. That one really doesn't count, so I'll throw in one more in. Let's say owner carry, delayed move, tenant in place, traditional loan, sales partnership, flip partnership, partial share. Now, one thing I don't do when I'm at a closing table, I don't bash agents. I don't bash realtors, because that's one of my techniques to get money off of a lead, because I don't always have to sign the contract. I want to make money for my time. So I have referrals that I can do. I can refer this seller to an agent. Well, you know what? You're going to make $300,000, or you're going to sell this for $300,000. I want my $200,000. And you're like, man, the most I can pay is $150. But tell you what, let me refer you to my agent, who is a great negotiator and can get you up to the highest level that you can. Maybe they can get you 200. Maybe they can get you a little more on the open market so that it covers your costs. They're a great negotiator. That's how I make my money, because I've got a great team. Would you like their name and number? Is it okay for them to call you? And then you share that connection. Now, I've had great success with that. They're like, and it all starts at the beginning. Don't bash realtors. Don't say you're so much better than a realtor because of this, that, and that. Don't even bring up realtors to the point that you have to. And then you make it into a money-making technique for you. Now, that's an agent referral. A lot of houses are messed up. And guess what? They're like, you know what? I'm just going to fix it myself. Oh, well, you know what? I understand that. You want to make the money. You've got the money in your pockets. You can afford to do that. You've got the time. How about I refer my contractor to you, right? They're great. They know what to do. They're going to make it easy for you because they're systematic with it. They'll take out a lot of the choices and be able to cut costs on materials, all kinds of different things, get you a product that you can sell for top dollar. Would you like it if my contractor gave you a call? I'll even send them the pictures I took today so they have a background on the property. And there you go, contractor referral. That's a way to make money at the closing table without even signing a contract. And then last but not least, this is number 11 or number 10 since we threw out cash offer, is a refinance referral. I have lenders and mortgage companies that I can refer to these sellers. I have to have the $200,000. Well, you know what? Nobody can pay that. We can't pay that. The house is in good shape, but and you really kind of want to stay, or maybe keep it as a rental. You're not quite sure what you're going to do. Maybe you just need to do a cash out refinance because you've got some equity here, and that might pencil out for you. So I refer them to a lender if it makes sense. And I've got good lenders that I know can close the deals, and they're creative. The main thing is you got to find creative lenders. And a lot of times with these agent referrals, construction referrals, and mortgage referrals, is these people already have somebody that they know within their sphere, a family member, a friend. And the way I pitch it is, you know what? I love my family and I love my friends, but I don't do business with them because business is business and I don't want my private information going out to them. So I really don't do much business at all with them. I do business with business associates. If you want the name of one of my business associates, I'm happy to share it with you. That way, people don't have to get messed up in your personal life. Because usually, if they're calling you for a cash offer, it's because something's going wrong and they want to keep that private. So, real quick, let's recap the 10 ways to close creatively besides cash purchase. We've got owner carries, we've got delayed moves, we've got a tenant in place, we've got traditional loans, we've got sales partnerships, flip partnerships, partial share purchases, and then referrals, because at least make something if you don't get the contract. So agent referrals, construction referrals, and refinance referrals. Those are all great ways to close deals and make money off of your leads. So get after it, close more deals, wholesale more deals, flip more deals, invest safely, invest smartly. And I've been Luke Weber, and it's always nice sharing information with you.